Hey, do we need to be on the computers or are we watching you shoot?
We're just kind of going over some troubleshooting tips. So if you want to check email and browse the internet while we do that, you're welcome.
Okay, we don't have to log in. Oh, we can do that on our phones and our iPads. Yeah. Alright.
So if you plug it in, you mess with it a lot, you can turn it out. You know what that term is? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can actually move it out. I've recently video calls with people that usually text to it, but there's little things that can be done.
Just stuff we all done and kind of call our name right now.
That's pretty common. This is when you get a lot of devices.
Oh, and then the suit principal.
I'm using Evernote.
Diana's
Is
son.
that what the word is? Every time I open it up though,
Yeah.
it says synchronization failed.
Kathy, your husband's on.
Did you go on that?
Yes. I'm so glad.
You have to call him.
And there's a couple of things that won't synchronize. So one of the things here is
I don't know how to this it's called Giant Causeway.
I'm at my point now, because I usually start off at my point now where I'm memory, so I go from there. So I my notes. I'm at that point now where I'm making memory, which is good.
I know, really.
Nice to get logged in.
I'm logged in on the internet one and on the dining room. But Arizona said that I just don't know what else to do.
She wasn't moving to you.
But it said that 3 or 4 times when I have it open.
On the fifth Sundays of the month, they have, I think we call it Fifth Sunday singing, I think they have it too. So they have it early and then they always come to our church if we have Fifth Sunday. So, talking to her, to get a sentence out, I mean, worse than usual, because you know, normally she's slow talker, it's worse. And,
At first I thought it was because I had too many
she was showing me
pictures in one of my documents, but then I
the
removed
doctors
it.
cut her arm to, well, they're gonna have to eventually do a slice plate to bring her vein closer to the surface. Because as her husband said, she's got too much fat on her arm. And the veins too deep in, and they're gonna have to be into the vein line to do, I guess, the allergy treatment. But I said, are you sure? And she said, yeah. But it took her a minute to say that, you know, she's slow.
I have like a condition of anything from HR, so I didn't worry about her.
Her daughter's here right now.
Yeah.
I think
I'm moving forward.
her daughter and son-in-law are missionary,
All that bad stuff.
and they have, I reckon, 8 or 9 kids. They've got kids coming out the wazoo. But Barbara's actually, well,
Well, I think that's what's quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to find something that I can use that will all in be there, you know, and it's an online event. What I like about Evernote is I can like take pictures of things that I like and then I'll post them on the, like an Evernote forum so I can keep them. Okay, I'm on.
I'm Emily.
Hello, Joan.
Nice to see you. I was with Vicky. No. I don't think so. So if you want construction this summer, do you know?
It's still in construction because yesterday I went by there to meet Ms. Bridges and says, please come see us tomorrow.
You know what I call it? I find myself going like this.
I know.
Why is it working?
But it's not first week.
Why is it
I mean, and don't feel like you have to.
No,
We kind of walk through and show you like how I kind of ran it.
Yeah.
You don't want to man.
I don't know if you're going to come in and do.
No, I like that.
You don't need to.
I'm gonna just set my junk right here. Let me see if I can round them all up for you.
How are you?
Good.
The librarian that was there, so I started, she retired.
I finally gave in.
I'm doing good, Cecily. How are you doing?
Making it okay.
We've got a few extras, actually. But we need a bunch more at the rate they go out.
World War Z is like an intelligent look at it. I love World War Z. And then I don't know I hate it.
I really wish that, you know,
I did.
I mean, that person, you know what your goals are.
And if I'm home for a long time and if I'm And then the audio book is great because each chapter is narrated by somebody from so they had the is one of the narrators. And then one of the things I found fascinating is after they've all gone and they're trying to people like if you were a TV producer, you're irrelevant to the news, you're because you're irrelevant. But if you were a housekeeper and you have all those kind of skills, then you're suddenly pretty much, yeah. So it was a really and the series has been so long. Like in the first book, I kept thinking, here's stuff I never thought were helpful. There's and so as I'm going along,
All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get started.
and now she can
Kathy said we've only got until 10:40 to go through some of these troubleshooting tips on Promethean boards, so let's go through this pretty quick.
Yeah.
Somebody's pocket is ringing. All right, nothing official in this meeting right now. What Kathy wanted me to kind of do is go over some troubleshooting tips for those of you who have Promethean boards on your campus. For those of you who do not have Promethean boards on your campus, I'm sure you'll be getting some soon. For those of you who are new, my name is Shane Thornton. I am also in your IMS group. However, I'm not sure how long that's going to last. Kathy actually asked me to spend my time over the summer trying to figure out a new title for my role, because I really don't do what you guys do anymore. But I handle Promethean boards. I handle Gaggle. I take care of Project Share. And soon I will be supporting the iPads, possibly taking over most of what Tony is doing right now. But I've got a lot of learning to do when it comes to that.
Do you have, Shane, do you have like a page or a blog or something that does all this good stuff?
Yes, I do. And I'll pull that up in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and get started with some of the troubleshooting tips on the Promethean boards. Currently, we have 250 Promethean boards in the district. We've got 7 that are being installed next week over at Adams. And a lot of secretaries and principals have already asked us if we could go ahead and start ordering some more for their campus for the upcoming year. So we've got more coming. When I came in here earlier and turned on the computer, what I noticed is that I took our pen here. Who can tell me what's going wrong?
It's not calibrated.
Is the mouse moving at all?
No. Your light's off up there.
Okay, we're going to go through this very slowly, and these are very important. When you're with a teacher in their classroom and they're trying to do a lesson and they're in a panic and they're expecting you to fix their board, it's very important that you know these couple of things. The first thing we want to check, if you walk into a room and you don't have reaction from your Promethean board, what do you want to look for first?
Is it on?
Is it on? Is the power on? Is the power on to the board?
No.
Why no?
Well, you're not, yeah.
Most teachers think, because they're getting a projection from their computer, that their board is on. Projector and the board are two separate things. Okay? Susu, is this board on? How do you know?
The light's not on.
The light is not on. Okay. What do we want to check first, Susu?
The switch on the
The
side.
switch on the left-hand side. There's a standby button over here on the left. If it's red, that's not good. First thing you want to do is press in the standby button. When it turns green, what color is the button?
Green.
Oh, is it
On the
Blue.
side or that one?
Button up here at the top. The flame.
It's red right now.
It's red right now. Red good or bad? Bad. Your button should always be, Mr. Wilson, what color? White.
White.
Blue is okay, but blue is Bluetooth mode. Most of us in the classroom these days are not using the Bluetooth mode. So you want to make sure, if you're connected hardwired to your computer, that it's white. Okay? So right now we're red. So we know we've got power, but we're not making connection to the teacher workstation. What do we need to check next?
That has an X on it. Down there in the corner.
Down there in the corner, in the system tray, is your control panel for Active Inspire. Right now, and it's hard for you guys to see, and I can't remember if you've got it on these computers or not in your system tray, but if you look down here at your control panel, you've got an X. X good or bad? Bad. If I've got an X here, there's one of two things going on. Either the drivers are not installed on the teacher workstation, or what else? It's not connected in what way?
The USB.
The USB. All the teacher workstations are connected to these boards through USB. The easiest way to think about these Promethean boards is that these in and of themselves are just a piece of hardware. They've got to be connected to the teacher workstation, and they act as nothing more than a dual monitor, okay? When you have a Promethean board, you're in a dual monitor situation. You got monitor 1, monitor 2, and this is, in most situations, this is a clone of what the teacher is seeing on their monitor, on their teacher workstation monitor, okay? So we've got an X over here in our system tray. Sharon says it's not connected through USB.
Or HDMI.
Or HDMI. But HDMI carries what signal?
Digital?
HDMI is carrying video. Could HDMI be plugged in and still not have the board working? It's possible. The 300 series board, which is the older board that we've got in the district, Crockett, with 3 at Mosley, 3 at LBJ, and 7, I believe, at Moore. The 300 series is connected to a termination box right here, a piece of hardware right behind the board. Okay? It does not have HDMI, but it's got USB, and then it's got your old VGA video connector. On the 500 series, the new boards that are going into the district, you've got an HDMI, and then you've also got USB, most of them connected to a port in the wall through a power booster. Okay? So you want to check if you've got an X down here in your system tray and you're not getting any interaction with your board. You want to check your USB cable after you made sure the power was on. You want to check your USB cable connections. Okay, they're connected into the wall, the termination box on this end, on the board end. And then at the back of the computer, you've got another one of these with the cable going in to this side. This plugs into the teacher workstation. The 300 series board, things are beautiful. I had one work order all of last year. It's the old boards. The new 500 series boards, just a pain. Mainly because of these. And the decision was made to start using these power boosters so we didn't have to inconvenience the teacher. These allow distance. The signals to go from one side of the room through the ceiling down to the other side of the room, and the teacher doesn't have to move their computers around to meet the needs of the board. Boards were not designed to work with a teacher workstation outside of 8 foot, really. But somebody in networking decided, can't we start using these so we don't have to inconvenience the teachers?
Which really turns into being inconveniencing the teachers because they don't work.
Inconveniencing the teachers, inconveniencing our support staff, our vendor. These, I was told off the record, also go out at a rate of about 80%. Okay, that's a high rate. So, if you've got an X down here in your system tray, check your power, check your USB connections. Now, as I come over here and look, I've noticed that I've got a break in my USB over here right by the teacher workstation. So I'm going to plug that in. Now you can hear the board said, oh, I recognize something on that teacher workstation. It now picks up the drivers. It says active manager. There's one device found. So you've got one board, you've got one device found. Okay? Color's my button. Button is white. So we're in good shape. Now, if I touch the board with this pen, my cursor should follow it, as it does. Teacher's ready to go. Okay? The old 300 series board uses a pen. This is nothing more than your mouse. Okay? You're standing in front of a computer now. You've got your display, you've got your mouse. Touching it is left click. You've got a little button right here that does right click. Pulls up your menu for your right click menu. Okay? On the 500 series board, You can use the pen, or you can use your finger. You got touch capabilities. Okay? It's very nice when it works. Teachers really like it.
How do you get the right click?
How do you do the right click? With your finger? How do you do the right click with your finger? Sue? We'll put you on the spot. How do you do the right click with your finger?
Just kind of tip it.
I think it's two fingers, if I remember correctly. The reason I'm asking Sue is because I can't remember. The thing is, when it comes to the board and the hardware, I can handle most of that kind of stuff. When it comes to the software end of it, I call Sue or I'll call John Wilson, who's taught with it for how many years now? 3?
I've taught with 2 years.
2 years? Or I'll call our vendor, Pro Computing. And by the way, if any of you want quick lesson in Active Inspire, which is the software that comes along with these boards, August the 10th, we've got 2 sessions. The morning session is already full. The afternoon session, we've still got some slots if you want to go through an Active Inspire session.
It's online, they also have the videos, and they are like, do this one small task, and it's like a minute or 2 minutes long.
Right.
They're really good.
Yes, they are
What do you
good.
think, Lynette?
Anything that you guys can think of that you've run across that you want me to try and answer, Gina? Sound.
It was a continual issue.
You might want to write down this link. Let me pull it up. Procomputing.com. /download. Pro Computing is our vendor. And they've got a nice little page here that has all the drivers on it. They've got all the old drivers, the current driver, Active Inspire 1.6. Active Inspire 1.6. And then you've got Active Inspire 1.5 driver. Anytime you've checked your USB connections, and they're all plugged in, you know all your hardware is working, and you've still got an X down here in your system tray, I suggest going to this page and reinstalling your active drivers. Now, why do I tell you that when Gina's asking about sound? When you install these active drivers, it will install a USB sound driver as well. The problem with that sound driver is that we already have drivers for sound on our Windows stations. When you install a second USB driver, now you've got arguments going on between the current audio drivers and your new USB audio driver. The moment you install that audio driver, more than likely your sound's going to work. The minute you go and watch something on Windows Media or Real Player or YouTube, it's going to go and look for your analog driver, whatever's default for Windows. It's going to use that driver. That's the only toggle back and forth, generally, that you'll get, however, because when it finds that analog, you usually stay on analog. And even when you come back and you start using this board and you want it to pick up a USB sound again, it's not going to work. What's the easiest way to fix your sound problems when you've got that kind of argument going on? If you'll go into your control panel, you've got your analog device driver, you've got your USB driver. You can toggle back and forth between one or the other. So if you're not getting sound, more than likely it's a driver situation that's causing your problem. Your drivers will argue with each other.
So when you're on the board, you want to pick the one that says Promethean sound? or
US,
when you're-
it'll, yes, and it'll say
when you're doing
Promethean
the others,
USB driver.
So which control panel? Could you show us, please? Yeah, show us.
Yeah, yeah, I can. Control panels, the one that you're all familiar with, go to settings, start, settings, control panel. Sound and audio devices. Maybe. Good thing I'm not a salesman for the company. Okay, so you're going to click on your sound and audio devices. Go to audio, Promethean USB audio, which is what we're using now. And here's your default, your SoundMax HD audio. Okay, that's what's default on this particular workstation. Okay. Now, on the new ones, on the 500 series, if I'm not mistaken, you've also got audio carried through your USB connections. So if your USB hardware is having issues, more than likely you're not going to get audio. All right, is that correct? All right, any other questions you guys can think of? Yes, Gina.
These are all the things I dealt with last year, so I figured, and I think we had the newer boards that Adam.
Yeah, the 500 series.
If we weren't having sound issues, we were having issues with video playback. And what I would generally do is just switch from one to the other. Like if we couldn't get Windows Media to work, I would switch to something else. But people always want to know why, and I'm like, I don't know. Just take it. It works. Let's just be happy that it works. But is that a Promethean issue? Is that a computer issue?
Where's the media coming from?
Generally a DVD.
It's coming from a DVD. That's got to be a Windows situation.
Okay.
It's got to be something.
It just seemed like it always happens when it was always in a Promethean room. We would have the issue, and I would just take them off of Windows, and we would switch to Power DVD, and we would have no problem.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I don't know if that was. I didn't know if that was Promethean or if that was the machine.
It shouldn't be Promethean. Again, you're just cloning whatever it is that's going on your teacher workstation.
So it's just a coincidence.
And we had that problem too. We had that problem with two, it's a Windows Media Player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it always only seemed to happen when I was in a room that had a Promethean board, so that's why I was checking.
I had that same problem too. Power DVD, you always recommend it over everything, yeah, it works better, I don't know why.
And also, I was told early on when they put these on, when you change the USBs in the back of the computer, that the USB for the 500s, they always like the top slot.
That's true.
They always like the top USB slot. When you're switching your USB around in the back of your computer, put your USB for your Promethean board in the top slot.
Yeah, that's probably more technicalities than you guys really want to deal with. If you want to do trying to figure out the USB connections in the back, you can. But on the new computers these days, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 7 USB connections. You got a mouse, you got a keyboard, you got a printer. Well, you used to have a printer. But the USBs have different power. The USB connections have different power properties to them. So when you plug in a board to a USB, it wants the most powerful USB connections there is. But if your powerful USBs are already taken up with keyboards and things like that, this is going to get one of the lesser USB connections. A lot of times it doesn't work as well. So what I started doing to fix some of these problems was I would get in the back and I'd start, unplugging cables. A lot of times that would fix it. But yes, the USB connections does have an effect on whether or not your board is going to be recognized by the teacher workstation. Okay? But you guys, if you don't want to deal with Promethean boards, you can always put in a work order. Our technicians have been trained on how to do these. I'll come out and do it for you. But it really helps your staff when you can walk into a room and run through some of these troubleshooting techniques and get them up and working while their 30 students are staring at them waiting on the list.
Last year at Eisenhower, not being IMS, but just having a Promethean board previously, some of the teachers were asking me some questions about it.
Yes.
One thing that they struggled with is they also had the document cameras, and they wanted to be able to toggle back and forth and project the image on the Promethean board versus still continuing to have the projector on a separate screen.
Yeah, and that's a
splitter. They just need to get a splitter in the
It's just a
back.
matter of wiring. You can hook it up with a splitter. Generally, if you'll put in a work order for that, any of the teachers who want to do that, if you'll put in a work order, most of our technicians can come and wire that up. When that happens, you can toggle. There's a way to toggle through the soft.
They don't do that.
Oh, okay, no, I just,
If we have them, we will. I'll give them away.
oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you
As
said
long
that,
as we have
wire
the
it up.
supply.
I was like, and
Yeah.
provide, okay.
As long as we have the supply.
Well, that box on the side for the old ones, you can plug in and just go back and forth, no problem.
Yeah, but on the 500 series, it's a matter of wiring. You can toggle in the software on the teacher desktop. You can also toggle on the actual document camera.
Yeah.
Elbow. You've got to toggle back and forth to the camera,
Or the remote.
to the computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's several different ways to do it, but it can be done. So if you have teachers that want to do it, and you have the time to spend trying to figure it out, better for you because you'll know in the future. If not, you put in a work order, we'll come do it for you. Okay? All right. Kathy's looking at her watch back there. So, very quickly, Karen asked about my webpage. Some of the things that, if you want to know what the heck I'm doing, you can go to my webpage. It's actually epsilon.com/ and then part of my name. It's on our technology webpage, wherever all of our blogs are, web pages are. Okay, so you can find me in that, or you can just type in the address. And the information today is on the Promethean link. A lot of the information I've got here that if you ever want to put in a work order with Promethean instead of just GPISD, if you want to put in an actual work order with Promethean, you can do that. If you have a pin that's broken, if you have a board that's not working and you're tired of talking to me about it, you want to put in a work order or call Promethean, here's all the information that you need to call them. They will ask you for the active care account number. The number is right here. Here's the technical support telephone number. And then a few tips. When you do call them, they're going to ask you for the school zip code where this board resides. And they're also going to ask you for the serial number of your board. Okay, so have all that handy if you want to call Promethean. And Promethean, because of this active care number, puts us at the front of the line. So you don't have to wait for 30 minutes or an hour to speak to somebody. Okay? When you have problems with Promethean boards, you don't have to call me. You can call them directly, and they are great at helping us over the phone. And they're great at fixing things, too. They'll replace it. And they ask very few questions. Yes, Sharon?
Okay, the wands.
Yes.
Are we just not ordering wands with any boards now?
We are not.
Okay.
I thought we had a wand in here. I guess I stole it and took it to another room. But the wand that we used to order for the elementary schools was an extension of this, was all it was, for us short people who couldn't reach way up high. But we do not order the wands anymore. Now, if your campus has money and you want a dozen wands or however many, you can order them if you want. But you don't even have to come through us. You can order the wand and be done with it.
Or just take it to a stick.
Take it to a stick.
The pre-K campus,
Well, thank you for sharing this today,
Do they still do the responders?
The handheld response units? They do, yeah. Yeah, the response units, the handheld interactive units, Lisa has 32 cases over at Crockett. Witt has 7 cases. And I can't remember, I think Moore has a few. Yeah.
But do they work pretty well? I mean, do
They work very well. Yeah, I use the handheld responses. Lisa let me borrow hers from Crockett one time. We used the handheld responses at a principal presentation where the superintendent was presenting and she was asking the principals questions. This was over at Ruthie Jackson Center, and all the principals were responding to her questions. It worked very well. If you can get the teachers to use them, it's a great tool. Well, I think they are. Don't ask Sharon about it. All right, anything else? There is some troubleshooting information on this page that I've pulled in from Pro Computing, from other people who have just put it out there for you to use. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube. If you guys want campus training for your teachers, if they're asking you for training on Active Boards or Active Inspire, more than the board itself, but Active Inspire, which is the software, you can, if you scroll down on that page that I just showed you there, there's a form here that you can fill out with all the information. This will come to me in a spreadsheet. It's the magic of Google Docs. And I will send this on to Pro Computing. And for free, they will come out as much as we like, whenever we're available and they're available. They will give us a 2-hour Active Inspire training session. So if you want training for your teachers or yourself, as long as we can get a good group on campus, they will come to your campus, give them a room with a board or a lab with a board, and they'll give you training on Active Inspire.
And make sure you come through me if you want to do that. Shane and I, that's what we kind of worked out our deal was, he'll see what training's needed and then come through me and we'll set it up in Eduforia and everything.
I like the Epsilon sign. That was the one time thing. It was on something else.
4011. I've got that on here somewhere. Oh, it was in a Google Doc that I had
No, it's right
planned
there.
for you guys. Is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Right there in the middle where it's hard to see. 237-4011. You can email me. I'm thinking about doing a help desk, but I haven't decided if I'm going to do it yet. Because I'm never there.
Yes.
But well, I'm presenting myself. That's smart. Anyway, I'm thinking about doing a help desk on through Ustream. They took Blackboard away from me, which is where I was doing a help desk before. And if you wanted to get on Blackboard and call me that way, we could chat back and forth, or we could talk, whatever.
So you're saying we need some practice?
Yeah, the free version of Ustream, you got to watch the commercials. So if you need plastic surgery, you can't do it. Anyway, so you can call me, you can email me, or you can get on my future help desk. All right, why did I say that? I don't remember either. Yeah. All right, anything else?
Thank you so
Nope.
much.
All right, go.
We're trying to figure out if that was real time or what. Oh.
It's close.
Right over here.
Lisa's going to present, what did you call it, Lisa?
Customer service.
Customer service. We're also going to present, she's going to present this to our instructional lead aides, because we've had a few that didn't dress appropriately.